Cameron, you're there every day. What is the mood like in the fan base? Are they nervous, cautiously optimistic? Like, where are they at right now?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think you're optimistic with the quarterback battle, mainly because like quarterbacks seem to do pretty well in the system, regardless of who you put in there. I think the biggest worry is the offensive line and how the hell that holds up when you're playing a team like Michigan and trying to win a national championship. But also, like we talked about earlier, like this is an important year for Ryan Day. Can he get over? I mean, and you're going to Michigan this year, so you're going to have to win that game with a new quarterback and 3 new starters on the offensive line. Obviously, the whole season before then, so you hope to have them groomed by then. But I mean, I think there's a lot of feelings. I think it just depends what type of. I think RU wrote this pretty well a while ago. It just depends on what type of Ohio State fan you are you the one who's just are you the negative one, or are you the one who wants to be cautiously optimistic about some things? So, but I think there's things to be excited about this group, but still a lot of major questions.
They're one of 5 rosters that have a legitimate chance of winning a national championship next year, and it seems like they're like in disaster mode right now. And I don't know if that's just me, but like it really does kind of feel that way.
Here's the thing about this, though. When you have a roster like they do, chemistry, if it clicks, you can just torch people. And there's going to be a year like with Ohio State, and you've seen it with Georgia, and I think the coaching staff does a good job of making it happen that way. But if you keep putting this level of talent together like Ohio State has year after year after year, you're going to have years where everything fits together right. And so if this is one of those years, like in 7 months, we're going to be talking about how I can't believe we didn't realize this team was the best team in the country.
I feel like it's really just because they don't have a quarterback. You just don't know who's going to play quarterback. If you had an established quarterback with these offensive weapons, you'd be like, okay, this is the best team in the country. Now they still have stuff to answer on defense, but I think if you put a quarterback on this team with all these weapons, it's hard to think of a defense that like consistently stops them.
Yeah,
if CJ had come back, it'd be the best team in the country, and it wouldn't.
It's also 2 consecutive losses to Michigan that change our thinking on this.
That's the whole thing. If they would have beaten Michigan last year and won the Big Ten and lost in the semis the way that they did, everybody would be like, that was one of the best teams they've had.
Yeah,
like that's the whole thing.
Well, it is going to be a fascinating situation to watch. If Ryan Day really does have the quarterback competition wrapped up in the spring, and I don't know if they announce it or at least just tell whoever's starting that they're starting, or at least or make it obvious to them, I'll be curious to see what happens there. But this is going to be right. I mean, it feels like one of 2 directions. Either they are going to be in the national title hunt, or it's going to be what the hell's happening.
Well, they're going to be in the national title hunt, but it's whether or not they're going to win that game in November.
Well, right, they were in the national. They were in the national title hunt last year, and we're looking at this like last year was a complete failure because they lost to Michigan. They did not win the national title.
I think that's just what Ohio State is, though. I mean, it's Ohio State is. You run through your schedule, and then if you don't beat Michigan at the end of the year, then the season's truly a failure. I mean, unless you go ahead and jump, unless Noragos hits that field goal and you bash TCU and win that championship.
Right. And the dynamics change.
The whole program is.
Yeah, the dynamics change in 2024, but this year is the last of the 14 playoff. They did both make it last year, but the chances of you making it if you lose that game they're not that good. I mean, it worked out for them last year, but if things had worked out slightly differently, it's not, then they're sitting at home and it's just like, oh God, what's going on with them? Is Ryan Day the guy for this program? So yeah, it is weirdly existential. It's one of those things that most fan bases are like, I can't believe they're complaining about all this. But if you're an Ohio State fan, you're like, no, this is not what it's supposed to look like.